I got to give it to you, Democrats. You guys will definitely like die on a hill, okay? Because I'm seeing people, oh my God, I'm embarrassed to be an American today. I can't believe what happened in the White House. It was revolting. It was disgusting. It was a shame. But you were proud to be an American when the president couldn't find his way off of a stage. You were proud to be an American when the vice president couldn't even put a sentence together. You had all these other moments to be embarrassed to be an American. Yet you choose the moment when somebody finally stands up and puts our country first, calls out the bullshit from this little embezzler, this little micro midget Oompa Loompa who comes over here demanding, stomping his little size 2 foot around. Now you're embarrassed to be an American? Please, spare me.
You see the way Trump talks to Zelensky? That's what we've been missing. That's what I voted for. That's what I've been looking for. Somebody talking with their chin. Who you talking to? This is America. You better be humble when you walk up in here, making demands. Who you think you talking to? This big Trump and big Vance. And I like how Vance stepped right in. Trump sat back like a G. Trump came in, no, I got this, big homie. Hey, bro, you need to check yourself. We're doing you a favor. The United States does not need Ukraine. We can sit back and let Russia destroy y'all. So you better come with some humility, bro.
Yeah, so I had to double back on this whole Zelensky-Trump debacle situation because there was so much to talk about with this whole thing. One of them being, and none of us caught it at first, but apparently Zelensky called J.D. Vance a bitch. Yeah, listen, excuse my language, but that's, according to this translator, that's what he said. He called him the B word in Russian. Check out the clip.
I have been to. I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour. I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a.
I mean, kind of looks like somebody, I don't know, under his breath, looking away.
The stories, and I know what happens is you bring people.
You know. That does seem like a situation where, a word like that would come out. He turned away, looked down. He's got his arms folded. He says it under his breath,
You bring them on a...
Then he looks back up after he says it. I don't know, man. That's according to the translation. According to the translation, that's what he said. And, obviously after that whole situation, it didn't get any better. After that whole exchange, Trump literally kicked him out. Like, legit, just gave him the boot.
This is what I was told. The president has kicked Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected. Officials in the room felt that beyond the language barrier that we've heard some discussion about, Zelensky's body language, shrugging and eye rolling, was ungrateful, disrespectful, and the president feels that Zelensky is not ready for peace, and he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace, but he's not in that position right now, and Zelensky is being told he's got to go. The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staffers are going to be eating that lunch. This is really pretty incredible. We see the
Jackie,
SUV,
hang on with us one
Zelensky's
moment.
SUV.
If you look to your left, you're going to see him. Let's watch.
Mr. President, is the deal off? President Zelensky, can you tell us what happened?
Zelensky on juuri lähtenyt valkoiselta talolta äsken saimme tietää, että tuon mineraalisopimuksen allekirjoittaminen peruttiin kokonaan.
Yeah, so there you have that there. Kicked them out. And, of course, Democrats are going to say, oh, the people that like this, they're Putin sympathizers. They love Putin. Listen, it has nothing to do with loving Putin. You can hate Putin, but also still want to end this war between Putin and Zelensky. That they're not like. I think that's what everybody on the right wants, right? It's not like we're all, oh yeah, Putin, yeah, no, of course mainstream media is going to try to spin it that way because they could try to put us in a negative light. Oh, they all love Putin. They all love Putin. They won't be like Putin. Well, if we all love Putin, we'd move to Russia. Fucking idiots. Like, it's just the stuff that they try to say, man, is just wild. Because that's the narrative from a lot of folks on the left, is that we're all Putin lovers. And it's like, no. I don't give a shit about Putin, okay? I do want to stop spending our tax dollars on a meaningless war. I do want that to stop happening. And regardless of where these men are or are from, right, there's men dying. Those men are somebody's son. They're somebody's brother, possibly. Somebody's uncle. Somebody's cousin, okay? They're somebody's loved one. And just to send them into meaningless war is just crazy to me. Honestly, I think the rules of engagement need to change personally, but that's just my humble opinion. All of these politicians calling for war constantly need to go fight in the war themselves. But that's just what I personally feel. I know it will never happen. I know it would. That's like that's never going to happen. They're never going to do that. But that's what I think should happen. We'd have a whole lot less warmongers out here. But I think Zelensky's in some major trouble. In major trouble. And one reason is because when you lose the support of someone like Lindsey Graham, who is a warmonger, who has loved to shake Zelensky's hand, when you lose the support of him, oh yeah, you're screwed.
All right. So, what I think? Complete, utter disaster. I've been to Ukraine 8 or 9 times since the war started. I understand the consequences of Putin's actions against Ukraine. I appreciate what the Ukrainian people have done. They fought like tigers. At the end of the day, I was hoping that this minerals deal, which would be transformative in the relationship, would go over well. I talked to Zelensky this morning. Don't take the bait. President Trump was in a very good mood last night. Somebody asked me, am I embarrassed about Trump? I have never been more proud of the president. I was very proud of J.D. Vance, standing up for our country. We want to be helpful. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again. I think most Americans saw a guy that they would not want to go in business with.
Did you ever think you'd hear those words come out of Lindsey Graham's mouth? Pretty wild, ain't it? Lindsey Graham, ladies and gentlemen, the warmonger of warmongers, said that. Incredible. Also, Marco Rubio, he basically kind of uttered some very similar things.
But what specifically do you want to see President Zelensky apologize for?
Well, apologize for turning this thing into the fiasco for him that it became. There was no need for him to go in there and become antagonistic. Look, this thing went off the rails. You were there, I believe. It went off the rails when he said, let me ask you a question to the vice president. What kind of diplomacy are you talking about? Well, this is a serious thing. I mean, thousands of people have been killed, thousands. And he talks about all these horrible things that have happened to prisoners of war and children, all true, all bad. This is what we're dealing with here. It needs to come to an end. We are trying to bring it to an end. The way you bring it to an end is you get Russia to the table to talk. And he understands that attacking Putin, no matter how anyone may feel about him personally, forcing the president into a position where you're trying to goad him into attacking Putin, calling him names, maximalist demands about Russia having to pay for the reconstruction, all the sorts of things that you talk about in a negotiation. Well, when you start talking about that aggressively, and the president's a deal maker, he's made deals his entire life, you're not going to get people to the table. And so you start to perceive that maybe Zelensky doesn't want a peace deal. He says he does, but maybe he doesn't. And that active, open undermining of efforts to bring about peace is deeply frustrating for everyone who's been involved in communications with them leading up to today. And I think we should apologize for wasting our time for a meeting that was going to end the way it did.
Facts. That was genuinely a waste of time. And I personally, and I don't have any evidence to back this up, I think this was done intentionally. I think this was done on purpose. Like, Zelensky went there with the idea of, this is what I'm going to do. Now, how he came to that conclusion, I don't know. Some could say maybe there's some people from the U.S. that, have talked to Zelensky behind doors, some folks on the left, and convinced him to not go along with Trump or any of that. Who knows? But I think whoever, or if he came to this conclusion, however he came to this conclusion, it was the wrong conclusion. Because now you've lost the support of warmongers. And that was the only shot that you had, was warmongers being on your side. So, yeah. And Trump had said that the only way that Zelensky could come back was if he was ready to talk about peace.
I don't want to fight a war any longer. His people are dying. He doesn't have the cards, just so you understand it, okay? I can
Yeah. Wait, did I play that whole clip?
What does Zelensky need to do to restart talks with you?
He's got to say, I want to make peace.
There we go. Yeah, I was like, I know that's the right clip. Goodness gracious, my apologies. But also, so that's the only way Zelensky could come back. And apparently, right after Zelensky left, he sent out a bunch of tweets, and so were some other world leaders sending out a bunch of tweets in support of Zelensky. It was almost kind of coordinated, it seemed. Kind of weird the way that it happened. But apparently, Zelensky immediately was trying to change his mind after he left, because this is also what Trump had to say.
Mr. President, how long do you think it will take for Zelensky to want peace and be invited back to the White House?
Well, he says he wants it now. He wants to come back right now, but I can't do that.
Hey, I agree. I'm not mad at that, right? I gave you the opportunity to come here and talk peace and sign this minerals deal so that we, the American citizens, can get some of our money back. And you did neither, right? You didn't talk peace and you didn't sign the deal. So we going to put this on ice for a little while, let you think about these decisions, and then maybe at a later date, once I know that you're serious, then we can come back to the table. But I'm not going to keep wasting my time. Time is very valuable. It's something that we can't get back. I don't care how much money you have, how much fame you have, who you are, where you are, okay? Time is something that you can't get back. And if you're going to sit here and waste my time by doing a little show in front of mainstream media, like, no, you're not invited back. When you're serious about talking peace, then you can come back. Listen, I'm not mad at that, because I would say the same thing. I would say the same thing. And as a matter of fact, I might have gone a little bit further than that, I might have just said, you know what? F it. If you think you so big and bad, if you think you got all the cards, figure it out yourself. Go ahead. Let me see. Show me. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. As a matter of fact, let's bet that $350 billion back. Okay? Let's bet $350 billion that you can't win this on your own without the U.S. Let's bet $350 billion. Yeah, I would have went at him. Like, oh no. But anyway, at the end of the day, all the jokes aside, I think this will work itself out. I think Zelensky doesn't have a choice but to come to the table and talk peace. I don't think Europe would be willing to up their spending enough to cover what we were covering, which is crazy because there are a bunch of countries and we're just one country. But anyway, I don't think Europe and all, the other allies could make up the difference if we and Trump decide, okay, yeah, we're done. Do it on your own. We're not spending any more money. They're not going to be able to cover the difference. So he has to come back to the table and talk peace. And I think that's why you saw Trump afterwards come out and say, yeah, I mean, he wants to now. Like, he wants to come back right now, but I'm not allowing it. I think he realized playing hardball with Trump ain't gonna work. That's not gonna happen. Like, I royally messed up here. So can we meet again? Like, I want to talk peace, please. I think that's kind of a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes, but that's just what I think. Y'all can let me know if you think I'm right, think I'm wrong, why or why not. But I do think in the end, it will all work out and we will have a peace deal. There will have to be something that has to be given away, right? That's just how everything works. You're not going to get everything you want when it comes to peace, but there will be peace in the end. And I think it's going to be beautiful for everyone. Obviously, hopefully we'll get the minerals deal out of it. There's been some speculation that Putin is willing to make more connections with the U.S. as well in terms of, some trades and whatnot. So I think this will all work out and it'll be wonderful for everyone. But what do y'all think? Let me know. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.